everyone. This is Truth Be Told, and we are excited about our podcast tonight. This is a podcast for women and those who listen, a platform that brings a voice to the silent and creates opportunities that are impactful. I am your host, Michelle Lorraine, and I'm glad that you are here with us this evening. We have a great episode for you because it is the Viewer's Corner. This podcast is from our viewers' perspective, and tonight I've selected a chosen few to share their thoughts on Truth Be Told. So help me welcome our guest. We have Mr. Daniel Cullen, Yusina Golding, we have First Lady J, and Ari Grant.
Hi.
Hi everyone. How are you?
We're doing well.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent, excellent. I am so excited to have you all on my podcast. Over the last several weeks, you've either been on or commenting, sharing our Facebook Live, and I really appreciate everything that you've done. And so I thought it would be a good idea to have you on the show to give me some of your perspective about either our guest, the topics, or even my hosting skills. Like, I'm telling you, I'm new at this, okay? I never went to school for this. I'm just trying a thing, as they would say. So I'm really excited. But before we get started, I'd love for our audience to get to know each and every one of you. So let's hear about you. Let's start off with Ari, all the way from Ottawa. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Ari Grant. I'm from Ottawa, longtime friend of Michelle. See, I'm promoting her
Shirt.
I bought a t-shirt from her to support her. I'm a mother of two. I've been working in the legal field for 15 years and working in healthcare for 17. And I'm here to support. I haven't watched all of Michelle's shows. I do have my favorites, and I think she's doing a great thing.
Thank you. All right, let's hear from Yusina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yusina Golding. I am a mother of three, and like Ari, I also work in the legal field. I graduated as a paralegal, but I currently work in insurance in the administrative department, and I've been working in the legal field for the past 29 years.
Wow, that's a long time. and then let's hear from First Lady J.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Michelle, for having me on your show. You're doing an awesome job. I'm enjoying it. So my background is I'm an esthetician, cosmetologist, and dental assistant. Currently, I am a designer, a creator. I'm in marketing and advertising. I'm a travel agent. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm CEO and founder of Keeping It Real TV Network. And our mandate is keeping it real in all aspects of life and giving back in more ways than one. And our vision is to see people grow from all walks of life, just grow and help direct where you need to go or would like to be, not just for yourself, for your family and for your bloodline.
Awesome. Thank you. And last but not least, the only man on our show tonight, we have Daniel Collings. Tell us about you, Mr. Daniel.
Hello. I know almost everybody on this group here for since 2007 and some even longer. I am a father of one son and three grandsons. I live in Oshawa. I'm assistant director of the food bank and resource center. I run a program called Self-Empowerment Livelihood Improvement Project. We just got a seed funding for a year. It's a program that empowers the homeless and the marginalized community to take a hold of their own true potential, and then finding their true potential, we wrap services around them. I'm a preceptor of nurses. I've been precepting for 12 years now, I think, like that, with York University and now Durham College. I'm co-chair of a GAP committee, which sits at the region's table of the region of Durham. as far as the homeless and poverty issues go, and I sit on every committee that needs to be sat on to address homelessness and poverty in Durham region. And I am just a true fan of anything coming out of Kingdom Life, and especially anything that comes out of Pastor Barrington Smith or Bishop Barrington Smith and his Pastor Richards. That church there was the first church I ever stayed in longer than, I stayed 6.5, almost 7 years in Kingdom Life, and got my most amount of my growth that launched me into the success I have in Oshawa now. So that's a long time.
Great.
Yes,
great. I've known everybody on this panel for quite some time, except for First Lady J, and it was just coincidentally enough that First Lady J and Ari both know each other and are out in Ottawa. But I'm just so grateful for even understanding the different perspectives of your careers and your values and everything that you've shared right now. It's just great to know the ambition and the hard work that you are doing in your respective places. So, as we are going to start, and I'm saying it loud and clear, truth be told, I am nervous to hear the feedback. So, be brutally honest and just give it to me straight. I want to hear your heart, because in order for us to do better, we need to hear the truth to help us to move forward. So, as a viewer of Truth Be Told, what led you to watch the podcast? So that's the first question. I want to know, what led you to watch this podcast? Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Actually, I started watching the podcast basically just to support you. I've known you for so long, and curiosity. I don't do a lot of podcasts, but honestly, like when it came out, I said I just wanted to hear like what you had, and I've never been disappointed. So
good. Okay, good.
For me, it was the familiarity with some of your guests, that I'm familiar with, know them personally or otherwise. And I found the topics just very down to earth, very relatable, very current for the time that we're in. And those are things that drew me to it.
Good. Excellent.
I was participating in my addiction. I was scrolling. And I went, wait a minute, what's this? And all I heard was something about low self-esteem and something mental health. And I thought I understood what I heard. So I typed something in quickly in response because it was you, and I figured I'd just throw a comment about mental health because that's what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
It was about cooking and mental health, how to take care of yourself through cooking. I thought it was something totally different. I said, well, that's this. And so I started to pay attention.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. And Lady Jen?
For me, it's pretty much the same thing as Daniel. Like I was scrolling and I had saw that you had gone live, and I'm like, oh, what's this? So I jumped on and I was like, yeah, this is down to earth. Like I really like shows and people that are just down to earth and real. I like realness.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have the right kind of guest on the show that can be down to earth or real. And it's important because a bit of transparency is what helps people relate. Would you agree? Is that the vibe that you feel? Is
Absolutely.
Being relatable? Yeah. Okay.
If the host has enough of a the guests have to feel comfortable with the host, and the host has to be able to stir what needs to be brought out in the questions, and you do that. It's about creating. You create a sameness with the people that you're talking to, and that stirs conversation.
100%. And that's what, and again, even right now, I'd like to interject to our Facebook viewers. If you have comments and tips as well for me, please feel free to put it in the comments, or if you have questions that you would like me to answer, or even one of our panelists to answer, then please feel free to do that as well as we go on throughout the show. How does the topics relate to either you personally or professionally? Did you find any particular of the episodes that we had relate to you on a personal level or professionally? Let's start with Lady J, First Lady J.
Yes, the one where can parents be friends with their children? I say yes, absolutely, positively. Because I'm a mother. I'm a single parent, and I'm a mother of a 12-year-old, and she definitely knows my role as a parent. She knows when I'm in mom mode. She knows for sure. But she also knows that, like, I'm a friend, and that she can come to me with any questions or concerns, and I answer them on her level, and I always have from day one. And I think, to me, that's important because that creates a bond that is extremely rare, in the sense of society is more than willing to feed our children things so quick and fast that if we don't have that friendship between us and them, that they will possibly run to the wrong source.
That's true.
And sometimes we can lose them for a while if we are not careful. So
100%. I know during that episode we really had somewhat of a dividing line. There's some who felt that parents should not have a friendship relationship. It's strictly I'm the parent, you're the child rule. And then there's some that felt that yes, like you're saying, First Lady J, that yes, we should have some type of friendship. How old are your kids? You said your daughter is 12?
correct.
Okay. And I believe Yusina has 3 kids, and they're all under the age of 25.
Yes.
Okay.
22, 23, 24.
24.
And you've done an amazing job with your children.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, if I could just piggyback off of First Lady J, you said something that's very important. During that segment, it was very interesting because, yes, if you are not friends with your children, they will find friends. Yeah. And their friends will pour into them things that's probably not what you would like from them. Mm-hmm. So it is, I honestly believe, because I'm a single mother of 3, and it's just it's wonderful. Like, I can have conversations, we can be real with each other, but they do know boundaries. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
And then should we have boundaries? Should they have boundaries with us? Like with our children, and in the perspective of, okay, we want to be their friends and be into their business. Should they have the same restriction in the sense of, listen, Mom, you need to back up a little bit, give me some space, as much as we want to have that friendship relationship with them? Because sometimes they may feel that we're crowding them too much in that friendship mode. Any thoughts on that? Because
I have tried to stay away, and even my children's friends want to come over, and I was like, no, just no. But we should have that division, mm-hmm. so that they are free to be who they are when they're not with us, mm-hmm. not without feeling restricted, but they are still, we've got to trust that what we poured into them, that it's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ari, what do you think about in the sense of having that space? You have 2 boys, and I think having boys is a different perspective of having girls as children. I have 2 girls, and I know I feel that it's different from having boys. What's your perspective?
It is different. First of all, on the friend topic that we're talking about, I wish that I had nurtured more of that friendship bond when they were a bit younger. I found it was, and a lot of effects from that is cultural, right? Our culture, our background tells us, you hear from our parents, I'm not your friend. And a lot of that is embedded in us. And I kind of grew them up a lot in that way, and kind of really kept a strict boundary. where I wish, looking back, mine are 27 and 18 now. Looking back, I wish I had developed more of a friendship at an earlier stage, because now that they're older, now I'm trying to catch up. Now I'm trying to be more of their friend. And then it's a little weird for them. They're like, Mom, like, stay in your lane, please.
Yeah.
It's a little weird for them now. So, but I do still believe in boundaries. Yes. I think, and then the latter part of your question, I think what really affects that is age. Their age it still plays a role. There's certain things you can open up to a 13-year-old that you're not going to open up to a 7-year-old. Like
right.
Age and level of maturity still matters.
Right. Excellent.
Still matters.
Yep. And Daniel, you have grandchildren, so do you feel that your relationship with your grandchildren is different from how you had it with your kids?
It's distant. They're on the other side of the country right now.
Okay.
But I am watching where I live. There's 2 little boys. I've watched them grow up. I have a place, and I've watched these 2 little boys grow up from the time they were infants, like weren't even barely crying, and I've watched their parents raise them, and their parents raised them as I'm still the dad, but guess what? I'm going to help you be that creative pirate that you want to be, or I'm going to help you jump across the lava floor like you want to jump across the lava floor, and you are the most important person right now. But when it's daddy moment, it's daddy moment. And I'm watching these. I've watched these 2, like they're. I was a distant parent. I was a non-existent parent. So my child was well grown up before I got involved in his life. But watching these 2 little boys grow up and being raised where there is that distinction between, yes, I'm the parent, but yes, I'm your friend. I've watched them create the imagination in one of the children that is so fascinating to watch children grow up. And with that dynamic, because I was brought up with, you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. I was brought up, say that word one more time, and I got a little bit too close to saying that one more time, and I got 3 steps across the room, and before my dad got smacked across the back of the head. I had good loving parents, but it was a whole different generation way back then.
Yeah.
And so I can see the dynamics.
Yeah, the disciplinary was really different from when we were growing up compared to the disciplinary.
It wasn't illegal to beat your child at one time.
Yeah, exactly. So, so when watching the show, would you say that you had preconceived notions about the topics, or do you think that the viewers had preconceived notions about the topic, and if so, how so? So in the sense of even mental health in the church, what preconceived notion did you have on that topic?
I had no preconceived notion on that topic.
No.
I had an opinion, but it wasn't preconceived. It was an opinion. I think the church needs to understand that it's not from the madhouse, as some say, and that mental illness is a chemical imbalance and not a spiritual defect, and that to comfort the feeble-minded, the scripture says. I mean, so if the church can learn to accept people that are, strange and off the wall, but that look for the reasons why they're strange and behind the wall, and then with understanding the mental illness and not ostracizing the person or not setting the person aside because of their mental differences, you engage them and bring them in, and then let them feel that sameness. The church needs to be taught that. Trust me, the church does need to be taught that. They need to be taught properly how it is to care for that subject needs to be really, really, really emphasized, because the church, I imagine some of the churches have left a lot of people with a lot of scars that have had mental challenges, and they've been wounded beyond repair.
Right.
Because the church. Sorry, not that myself.
No. Will you finish your point?
You can get me started on that. I won't stop.
I know it's a very passionate topic for a lot of people. I think Pastor Zachary and Dr. Elaine Spencer did a great job explaining it, especially at the point of talking about teaching, educating, leadership. And I mean, not
Yeah.
just within the church, but in organizations.
Yeah.
From a legal perspective, I'll ask Yusina and Ari, do you come across any cases that may interject that conversation about mental health and issues that people have, maybe have ended up going to court in regards to a situation and not be, taken care of because of mental health issues?
You see, you want to go first? No,
um, sorry, my connection chipped out for a second, but if I'm understanding what you're saying, asking, we've come across it, and we have to learn, and we have, I guess, different programs that they set up that we have to be very sensitive to them, because sometimes we would think that people are just rude, and it's not that they're rude, but it's definitely something that they're dealing with, or that's the way they act, or they respond because of their situation. So we've been told we have a lot of sensitivity training, and so that we have to be able to work with the people that we work with and know how to deal, so everybody feels really comfortable in the environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do we need to have sensitivity training in the church?
I would say so, but I think where the church is concerned, I wouldn't even say where the church is concerned. Where society is concerned, we respond because we may not understand. And if I don't understand it, I tend to respond as per usual, whereas we need to understand that there is something different, and we need to be sensitive to that person.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Do you think people come to the table with assumptions and biases about what mental illness is?
We definitely have a lot of training on unconscious bias. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something that happens, I believe, everywhere. Every organization or group has their perceived concept of people. We do it all the time. You walk into a building or into a store, if you see a person dressed a certain way, you assume or you prejudge them that, oh, they must be this kind of person. You can't tell me that you don't do that. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not until you get to know someone that you can say, oh, okay, this is what this person is about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important for us to recognize that we do that and step back and say, no, that's not right. Let me get to know the person in order for me to be able to make a right assessment of who they are. Question for First Lady Jenny. Give me an example of one of the podcasts that you watched and what you thought should have been covered that may or may not have been. I'll give you a second to think about it, because sometimes people, like I mentioned about the first episode, we forgot to give the 4 tips. What do you think of one of the episodes that you watched that we should have covered something but we didn't? Again, remember, I want the truth to be told, so.
Good question. Yeah, so the 4 about the friendships, right? How 4 different ways of, or 4, how is it entitled? How to tell who a true friend is.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Right.
Identify.
Yeah, how to tell how a true friend, who a true friend is. And so, did you want me to give you some of my viewpoints?
Yeah,
or?
I'd love to hear your points. Yes.
Loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty, for sure. Support. They support you. Very much tell it like it is, black and white. I like that personally. I want to be told black and white. And if I'm stepping out of boundaries, I want to be told. And to the point, like, you know, like some people might get upset about that. Me, I actually like it because it keeps me in the straight and narrow. And if they respect you, in your face, behind your back. So I think a lot of people can be friends, but to find a true friend is very rare. Mm-hmm. So when you find it, hold on to it.
Right, exactly. And Ari, what show did you find that did we cover everything in your perspective of the shows that you watch, or do you feel that we could have done a little bit better?
The two shows that stand out to me was the one that dealt with mental illness. The two lady guest speakers, mm-hmm. And the other one was about four ladies, and they were talking about their roles in the church and the roles in the secular world, like their jobs.
Yes.
And then that one, I thought there would have been more of a balance between what they do in the secular world and what's their role in the church. Okay. And for that, some of the persons that you had on, I didn't find they said a lot about or enough about what they do in their role in the church. That's that part of it. The mental illness one with the two ladies, I love that one. That's actually my favorite one. You covered a lot. I think I gave some. I would type in some questions during that show, and I think I was asking for just some follow. I think there were some books that were mentioned in the show, yes. And I would have liked just a little bit more information on that. I think I went back to you, or no, actually, I tagged the two speakers myself. I found them on Facebook myself, and then I asked them what the names of the books and stuff they were referring to. So stuff like that would have been good to include in the show, mm-hmm. as just to recap at the end. Okay, these are the references that they referred them to, just to give people tools on that they can search out information and other tools, book resources, stuff like that, themselves.
Okay, no, that's a really good tip. Especially, I believe Pastor Zachary had also a book that he had mentioned that we would also like to promote. And as I mentioned to even you as guests, that I'd love to be able to promote people's projects or careers, jobs, because at the end I was going to say, no man's an island, no man stands alone. That's my quote for today, because we can't do it all by ourselves. We really need to depend on one another to get ahead. When you listen to the podcast or watch the program, how does it engage you? I found that one of our podcasts had a very high viewers, and I wonder if you know which one it is. Can any of you guys guess which one of our podcasts had the highest views?
Spiritual warfare and youth.
Oh, that one? Okay. Anybody else? No guesses?
The baking one?
The bacon one. That one got a lot of hits. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. And I made a major mess up. I had the wrong type of sugar. I tried to play it off, and I'm like, yeah, it might still work out. And then when I looked in my bowl, it was like a disaster. So I just had to confess at some point, you know what? I can't bake anymore because mine just failed. It's one of those major fails.
And a couple years down the road, just have a blooper session.
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely make it for the bloopers. But that one I had a lot of views. Now, do you feel that type of podcast is helpful, or what are your views on that?
I think during COVID, it was actually a nice breakaway. Mm-hmm. It's something fun. It's almost like the knitting show, the shopping channel. And it's something to just like take the stress off. And it is, I know you were in the series of, like, I guess the balance with it, and cooking does help. it really was, I found that it was a break.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like everybody was having so much fun doing it.
Yeah. It was
So,
good.
you know,
It was good.
so everybody was there and they were talking and everybody was cooking and they're laughing and it was very uplifting,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
So, what do you, as viewers, do for your break? So, Daniel, what do you do just to give yourself that mental break on a day-to-day basis, or week-to-week, or month-to-month?
Ah, I run away. I mean, no, I, I read. I read, and then I read some more, and then when that's too much, I watch Netflix, and then I get caught in that Netflix vortex. It's called a series.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
and the
Yeah,
next
I've
thing you
heard.
know, it's like 13 hours later, and you watch, and it's your day off at 13 hours of sitting in front of net, and it's not even that's supposed to be relaxing, but you get up after that, you go what? So yeah. I eat cooking that my friends I eat the baking that my friends bake with the proper sugar and stuff like that. Well, that's what I do for my company.
With the proper sugar.
With the,
That's
yeah, yeah. Anybody else? What else do you guys do for your few minutes break, or, change of scenery?
outside. Outside a
I
lot.
pluck the
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ari.
Harry.
Outside. Find a beach area, or even just under a tree. Just quiet time. I'm an outdoorsy person, so I'd rather I find somewhere outside and just some quiet time. Do your own thing. That might be, right now I'm doing a photograph project. So like I have all these photographs that I've had like forever. And so I'm organizing them in books that I bought from Michael's. So that's just a mini project, but I do it outside. I find somewhere quiet after work or quiet time and take advantage of the weather while we have it here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. And Joy or Justina?
Walking. I get up every morning in order to start my day, and I do at least an hour 15 minutes walk, and burn the calories, keep fit. And then when I can't just go in the backyard and pull up the crabgrass, because apparently that's what I have. So just yanking them all up.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Lady J. So if you can make a recommendation to Truth Be Told, actually it's the same question I'm going to ask all of you. If you can make a recommendation for Truth Be Told, what would it be as it pertains to whether it's the show, the guest, the engagement? How would you like to see us progress going forward?
So I'll stick with the baking, the baking show. So I think it's a great idea, and I love the fact that it was very real. And even though you feel that you've done tons of mistakes in it and on it, it was completely awesome because I'm sure everybody did some sort of a mistake, right? So for me, though, I think that for more engagement, like if maybe the recipe itself and what people needed was maybe posted days before, maybe like a week before, so that if they were doing their grocery shopping, they could pick up exactly what was needed and then be able to actually participate in that as well and do it alongside. And the good thing about going live is people can ask questions too, right? As they're doing it and participating. So for me, that would be definitely like, hey, can I get the recipe in advance, please? Because I want to jump in and do this with you. So
okay, I love that. Okay, Ari.
I don't really have any specific recommendations. I would just encourage you just to keep keeping it real, keeping subjects that are very relevant. I'm very into like what's relevant, with the time, and I do like that when you have your various speakers, especially when you have like more than two, just keeping it flowing, like allowing everyone to have input, allowing it to circle around the table freely, so that you get to hear everybody's input. But just keeping it current conversations, current topics. Keep it up.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yusina? I'm saving Daniel for last because we
Yeah,
know Daniel has a lot to say.
Um, well, it's been great so far. I do love the topics that you choose. So you're on point with the topics that you're choosing. If I was going to say something, I would possibly say it would be very interesting to see a panel of young brothers. So like you know, just young guys. I don't know what topic you would choose. If you'd be able to handle what they're, but it would be so interesting. Like I love the diversity. Like when you talked about the mother parents and the relationship, you saw the dynamics between, and you had your mother and your daughter, so that was a three generational.
Right.
Having the kind of the younger young people that are on there, it's nice to see their perspective because sometimes, at least for me, I will say sometimes I can get stuck in what I know and not see another perspective. And it's really refreshing. But other than that, I mean, I love your topics.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I concur with that, Michelle. And I might have brought it up before. I think the one with the mental illness with the two women incorporating men, young men on the show,
Okay.
more men, for sure. Yeah, I second that.
Yeah. Okay. At first, I wanted it just to be a woman's program, but I do find that people are asking about men. But
Yeah, well, women like to know what men think,
okay.
especially
Yeah.
no,
young
they
women. They
don't.
like to know what men think. We need to know what they're thinking
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
True. Daniel, go ahead, and then we have a comment from Facebook.
Usually, the answer you get is when you ask a man what he's thinking. Oh, nothing, right?
No,
That's
exactly
true.
what they
That's true.
are.
Yeah.
um, I agree with everybody else about the men's thing. Actually, it would be good to have a men's version of the truth be told, so that there's two sides to the story. So that there's one day you do it, the next day Brother Richards does it. Don't know Brother Richards, but the truth be told, a men's side, truth be told, women's side, and take a look at both issues. Um, have a panel of men and women discussing the issues, and have that get that heated round table discussion and everything.
Right.
And just, I mean, I see you sent out questions, truth be told, questions, viewers going to questions. Send out the questions that you're going to ask ahead of time. And if you've done any, ask them to do research just to be up on the topic.
Yeah.
So you're getting real, but you're also getting informed, right? And talk show radio, and the idea is you're branding yourself now, and your personality is what draws the people to the show, right? My dad was a radio broadcaster all my life. I grew up with him as a radio personality, where he was to create an audience with just his voice. You're creating an audience with your content, your voice, and visual. And so you brand yourself as that, and as you grow, and I've watched you get from the very first one with Carrie Ann and Hyacinth,
Yes.
right, to where we are, to where you are now. Your skills, you've honed your skills, and with that becomes more assurance to when you come with conversation, and then it creates more in more involvement, more people getting involved, and
Okay, good. Well, thank you. We do have a comment from Facebook, and I do want to say thank you all for those comments and insight. I really appreciate it. And we're going to go to Cheyenne.
Okay, so Alexia said that it's great. She didn't know that the baking episode had such high viewership. She thought it would have been the one on mothers. Doreen Malcolm says it's so nice to see you, Brother Daniel. And then Alexia also said that regarding friendship, it is fine to be friendly with your kids, but they should not want to become your confidant and do not burden them with adult issues. If being friends with your kids means that no one is in charge, then you are doing it wrong. You must maintain authority over your children. Every structure requires a hierarchy. Someone needs to be in charge. Parents need to keep that in mind. She also says her favorite episode was when the mothers were on. As someone who's struggling with having a relationship with her mother, um, seeing how other mothers mother was a very heartwarming for her. She loved it when Mother Baker talked about hugging and touching her kids. The human touch is so important and can go a long way in healing wounds and creating bonds between each other.
Wow, wow. Thank you for the comments on Facebook and very powerful insight as well. As we are looking, it is now 6:44 and we have come to the end of our program. So I just want to again say thank you, thank you, thank you for my Viewers Corner guest. I do look forward to doing this again with other viewers as well. I think it's important for us to share our thoughts and ideas with one another. Again, my quote for today: no man is an island, no man stands alone. We all need each other, and we should strive to build each other up and not tear each other down. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned and received some great information and insight as well for yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, Tuesday, on Truth Be Told Facebook Live. Michelle Lorraine, I'm your host. Thank you for joining, and have a good evening.